welcome to Orchids World and More. And if you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Deya, and today we are at Bach Tower Garden in Lake Wales, Central Florida. And we're going to be listening to a lecture on Orchids 101 by Keith. It's great, gentlemen. It's going to be a wonderful lecture, so stay tuned.
So most everybody's got a flower?
Yeah, but we can't hear you.
Oh, I'll holler. The next question is everybody got a little ticket?
Yes.
There, you see, that's why, yeah, that's the ticket. You got one. You need one. There we go. Stick it in. Okay, we need tickets over here. So I know I'm high maintenance in the beginning. I have a problem. I give stuff away when I talk. So if I don't give everybody tickets, I got to give everybody a fair shake. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why everybody else don't give stuff away. You know, I got too many darn orchids and they should be in your hands, so I try to give some stuff away. I'm going to need both of my hands to start, but I'll be noisy. Do I get a flower too?
Of course. You grew.
Actually, no, these are David's flowers. The guy that's growing the Vandas out front, he's got too many darn plants in his greenhouse. So I go over there and he's got one greenhouse that he sells y'all, and he's got one that he saves because he likes them too much. And these are the flowers from the ones that he saves so that, you know, because he don't care if he breaks them off. He just wants the next spike to come. Why don't you pass me one of those? Your pick. Okay. Anyhow, I start everything off the same. This is the third time I've spoken in the last 8 days and the 30th time we've spoke this year. But we always started the same. It's like, hello, orchid lovers. I am glad, that's right, you can way back. I'm glad to see y'all. There's one thing about talking about orchids is that, you know, everybody's got issues and problems and this and that. But when you start talking about orchids or plants and stuff like that, this stuff all just goes away, right? And then you're having fun. That's what it's all about. All right, so why did I give everybody these flowers? Okay, raise your hand if you know what the difference between an orchid and every other type of flower in the plant kingdom is. See how many people don't know? Nobody knows. Somebody's got to know. I need a toothpick. Do I get a toothpick?
Here you go.
All right. I'll give it back to you. No, what happens is usually you got a pistil and a stamen, right? Ever heard of pistil and stamen? Right? Well, all the plants all got pistils and stamen. Got no pistil, got no stamen. All right. There's your first difference. The second difference is this, all the organs to the sexual organs, male and female, are both in the column in one structure. That's different than every other plant in the plant kingdom, right? So if you look at this flower here, like in nature, you can see it's got this correct or sticking out lip on it, right? So like the one I got is big enough for a dragonfly laying on here, but usually it's not a dragonfly that's going to pollinate it. But a bug will land on here, and it's going to go in here, and it's going to get the pollen off of here, and hopefully go to another plant and pollinate that plant, right? But we're going to show you where so we like to make our own crosses. So I'm going to pick the parents that I like, and you can pick for a number of reasons. You know, stem strength, color, vigor, lots of different reasons that you will pick two plants to, you know, cross together, right? And you can pick which one you want to be the pod parent, which one would be the pollen parent, or you could do a back cross and stuff like that. But the way that you do this is, if you look at it looks like there's a nose in the middle of your flower, right? The column, it looks kind of like a nose, right? So if you took the toothpick like this, right on the nose, and you went like this, there's a little structure that's going to come off called the anther cap. So see if you can get yours off. So you're just going to go like this, and you're going to pull it off like this. Did you get it? Right? Inside that anther cap, we can come play. Inside that anther cap, there's two pieces of pollen. Right? You see the pollen on there? That's it. You got it. You got it. You able to get it out? You see? Yeah, you got it. That's the pollen. I'd go over there. So you're halfway there. You're halfway there. So if you want to pollinate this into something else, all right, so this is pollen, this is the male stuff, right? If you want to put it where the female stuff is on that same structure, that column, right on the bottom of the nose right here, right? On the bottom of the column, back halfway back. Who can't see me? The front row can't. I'm sorry. What do I know? She's in charge of me. Can you tell? I'm a little slow, but I'm working it. That's all right. So the structure right in the back of the column right here, that's where the female stigmatic surface is, right? So you're going to take that pollen, and whichever plant you're going to put it on, you're going to take that pollen, you're going to put it right on the back of the bottom of that column structure. And that's what's going to pollinate the plant. You can play for a second. Huh? You get it? Oh, I took it. Got another toothpick. Here. Here, right there. There's one right there. Here, let her play with that. Here you go. You get it? Yeah, that's your pollen. When you're pollinating that next flower, you're going to get this to stick on that.
I can't get it to stick.
I know, you got to work it a little bit, twist it. I know, it's not easy. You got to play a little bit. So actually what happens in nature is, or what happens when we do this, when we're pollinating the plants, so the flower that's sitting there, all right, it can get a little noisy, but I can't hold the mic quite yet. I will in a few minutes though. Okay, so what happens in nature is you got that flower and you've pollinated it, so the flower's like this and it's going to close like this, right? In like 2 or 3 days. The reason it's going to close is because it doesn't want another pollinator to come in there and pollinate it a second time, right? So your flower is going to close up, right? And then what's going to happen, so the little stem that's behind that flower that you're holding when you're playing with the plant, that's actually the ovary of the plant, right? So that ovary is going to start swelling up and swelling up. In 5 months, on this type of plant, you can see those are 2 seed pods. So this is where the flower was, this is where the column is, and this is the ovary behind the flower that swelled up into a seed pod, right? So in this type of Cattleyas, Dendrobium, most Dendrobiums and Vandas, the optimum time for us is 5 months. Because in about 6.5 months in nature, this will start drying out and dehydrate, or it's going to start to crack open, and then the wind's going to start blowing seeds into the air, hoping to find that 1 in 10,000 spot that the plant may grow in nature with a mycorrhizal fungus that'll make it have the juice to grow. Or in our house, I give away a lot of stuff. I got to save this. I got a soda seed. I should have put this stuff on a table. I'm an old guy. What are you going to do? So in our house, what happens is, in 5 months, we're going to cut that seed pod off, and we've got a sterile box in our kitchen. I know it's out of control. In the kitchen, I got a darn sterile box that we flask in. Both of us do it, but you're going to take that seed pod, and you've got to bleach it all out. We have positive airflow, so there's not one spore in the place. And then we get these jars like this, and we put a seed germination formula into it that's like a jelly. It's like making jelly. You got to pressure cook it and all that stuff, get all the spores out of it, right? And then you can go into this, you can take the seed and you can put it in there. And I'm going to pass these around. You can see all the little baby seeds in here. There's probably a couple thousand in each of these jars. So you can just pass this around just so you get the glimpse of what's going on there. So yeah, we got a bank of lights, and I got probably 75, 80, maybe 100, around 80, I think, right now, of the mother flasks. So these are called mother flasks, and they're all trying to get seed germination. God gives you what you're going to get, so not everything comes through, but a lot of stuff comes through, and sometimes it comes extremely virile. So after about 7, 8 months in that flask, we're going to go to another flask. Just pass it around, let it roll. So the next game is a bigger bottle, right? Because I need headroom. And we have a growth formula in here. It's the same type of thing where it's got to be sterile. And the plants start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So this is called replating. These are replated flasks, and you can pass one of these around too so people can see what's heck's going on, because nobody shows you nothing. By the way, I'll give you any information I got. I'm not into holding on to information. Some people harbor their little secrets or something. Forget that news. I give it out. It's all free stuff. So really, and on these replate flasks, they can stay, it's a year and a half they should come out or do something. 2 years at the max, right? After 7, 8 months, a lot of them are big enough to plant out for, people that do it all the time. You can let it go to a year and a half. It's still fine. But they're in a cocoon. They don't need water. They need light. But they got all the nutrients and everything they need. So there's low maintenance at that point. So they keep growing out, right? And then what'll happen is we'll end up taking these and putting them in flats and planting them out. And they'll be a little about this big like this. And it takes you about another 6 years till they bloom. 5. Everybody hearing me all right? All right. Give me the microphone now. I'll go microphone now. Hello, 5 to 6 years. Okay, I have some structure parts to the flower and stuff like that. Let's go to the next one. We're going to talk about a couple of different types of flowers. Maybe. It's thinking. All right, I'm going to talk about 4 types of flowers that are the most common that you're going to probably bump into. You got Phalaenopsis, Cattleya, Dendrobium, and Vandas. Now I'm going to talk Phalaenopsis first, right? You see these all the time, right? See the spike on here? Right? The old spike where the flowers were on this plant? I should have cut it off a month ago, right? End of May, you cut off all the spikes. Where do you cut it? Right above the first node, because next year it'll come out of there. The reason to cut that off, I still got 3 flowers on there. That's fine. Cut the spike off, put it in a vase, enjoy them till they die. Let the plant grow in the summertime instead of putting all the plant's energy into that last 2 flowers you have. Excuse me. So yeah, I should have cut the spike off on this one, right? But I wanted to delete, when I saw it, I said, oh, this is the one I got to bring, so I can tell them they should have cut it off. So I cut all my spikes off, like, in the middle of May, end of May, right? Right above the first node, because then you can get another spike generated out of that node, and then you might get a supplemental spike on that. So, next year, if you're growing the plant, making it stronger, you might get 2 spikes on it, get twice the flowers, to have more show, right? That's what it's all about. So I should have cut that off. Okay, the next thing, pick up that plant. So a lot of times you're going to buy a plant and it's going to come in one of these pots, right? This is like a death sentence for your plant, right? There's no holes in the bottom. You're going to water the plant, and it's going to be sitting in 2 inches of water. These are epiphytic plants. They grow on trees in the South Pacific Islands. So, they don't want to sit in water, right? So the roots rot, the plant goes bad. So if you have this, you want to grow it in this, either drill holes in it or water it, let it drain, and put it back in the pot. First tip. Trade you. Excuse me on the cough here today. All right, this is doing pretty well. It's got a little something this and there, nothing big. All right, so as you can see, it's growing in sphagnum moss, right? They're almost always growing in sphagnum moss when you get them commercially. Why? Because the growers can grow them really easy, really fast, and get them to you and sell them, and they're out of their hands. And then it's in your hands. What do they care? So I'll tell you what. I have nothing against sphagnum moss, but it's only good for a year and a half. And then it's like this. Well, this is still pretty good, but it's getting old. You can see it. The moss starts breaking down and starts accumulating salts, right? There's nothing good about that for your plant, right? Now, you got 2 options. Well, this has got another 6 months. But you got 2 options, right? You can put it in a new pot or this pot with new sphagnum moss. So that means taking it out, repotting it, taking all the moss off, putting on new moss. And then, another year and a half, you've got to keep doing that or it's going to do the same thing over again. Or you can go into a bark media, like, fir bark and some other things. You're going to have to water it a little bit more because this holds more moisture. But that media is going to last you like 3, 4 to 5 years, where this is only going to last you a year and a half. So,
What is the name of the medium?
well, this is sphagnum moss. The other one's going to be like fir bark, stay-lite. You can get those orchid bark mixes that they have at the big boxes, stuff like that. Just one of those mixes. Now, you're going to have to water it more, especially when you go in, but it's going to last you a heck of a lot longer. Anyhow, give this plant away. Where's all the tickets around here? Anyhow, Cindy, you got tickets? Let that lady next to you pull out a ticket. Somebody take this plant home. Heck yeah, I got stuff to give up. Hey, hang on a second. I asked, I got 2 tickets, never got no tickets up here. Well, we'll give this a one. Let's get 2 tickets to go forward. No, that's why I asked, is everybody got a ticket? But let's get them some tickets.
How many?
2. 2? Yeah, 2 people didn't get a ticket up here. Just 1. Cindy got 1. I mean, yeah, Leslie got 1. Anyhow, did you pull the ticket back there?
I did.
Well, what are the last 3 numbers?
Okay, the last 3 numbers are 0, 3, 2.
Oh, 32. Bingo. Hey, that gentleman's got here. Give that to that gentleman. Let him grow that for me, will you?
I'll trade you.
All right.
Who's going to sit in the little frame right there? You all get tickets? Okay, everybody.
So like I was saying, Phalaenopsis grow on a tree, right? So they're not meant to grow in a pot and grow straight up, right? They grow on a tree. Usually they're going to grow at an angle on a branch or in a crotch of a tree, and the leaves are pendant so that when water comes down, okay, there's 2 types of orchids, monopodial and sympodial. You need a ticket? I do question.
So can you use pineapple?
It's got oil in it. I'm not big on it. So there's 2 types of orchid, monopodial and sympodial. Like the Vanda and the Phalaenopsis are monopodial. They have 1 growth point right at the top, right? So if you leave water sitting in the crown of it overnight, it can get fungus in it. That's about the only way you're going to kill it besides root rot on a Phalaenopsis. So you want to keep that dry at night. So you want to water your Phalaenopsis earlier in the day or just water the median at the top of the plant. But then if you're putting it at an angle, then the water's going to run right out. So you're not going to have that issue. So actually, your Phalaenopsis is usually grow up straight like this. When you grow them on an angle also, you have it so you'll have some pendant inflorescences, and then the flowers are all display real nice when they look up at you. So for example, on this Phalaenopsis here that I made, not that I can get my hands on it, let go. All right. So this isn't a bark mix, so I don't have to worry about it. And it's in a net pot, so it's going to water on the side without doing it. And I got a screen in front of it, so the stuff's not going to fall out of there. And it's aiming forward, and the spikes still come out here, and then hang down, and the blooms display well. So it's just something out of the kitchen, but this is another alternative that most people don't think to do. But if I'm showing a plant or I'm taking a plant to judge and I'm going in like this, they know I'm serious about the plant. I didn't just get it I didn't get it at Publix and here it is. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we crossed the seed, grew the plant. These are faster than most. These are like 3.5 years. But anyhow, let's give this away. So this is a fun way to grow a Phalaenopsis. Let's see, who's got them tickets? You got them, Cindy, or you got the tickets? Yeah, let somebody else pick a ticket. Here, come right up here, right in the front corner. This lady in the front corner, she's going to pick her own ticket. Come on, pick your own ticket.
It's happened once.
Last 3.
3 numbers are.
Thank you, Cindy.
309.
309. Grow this plant. You going to take that to him? Yeah, we spoke in Venice this year, so like I go to pick a ticket, I go to the first lady, so I go, first lady over here to pick a ticket. I say, I tell her, pick her own tickets. There's more people in here. She picks her own tickets. Like, you can't buy that stuff, right? So everybody's going to fixes and fixes. So next time I go all the way over here and I go to this lady all the way in this corner. I say, you pick your ticket. She picked her husband's ticket. It's like, you can't write this stuff, but fun is what it's about, absolutely. Maybe I should look at the program behind me. All right, so look at this here. See how this Phalaenopsis is there? They call this shingling. It's when the blooms are all going like this, all the way down, all the way down. Now the way to achieve that is if your Phalaenopsis, say you have a white window shear and you're growing your plant behind that, right? And your plant starts to spike up. You don't change the trajectory of the plant. You leave it in that same position once it spikes. And then it'll go up, and then it'll come down, and the blooms will all shingle, as they say, like that. You'll have a perfect presentation. Whereas if you keep turning the plant around, then the flowers are going to be all in different positions, right? So that's one trick that a lot of growers do. Well, a lot of growers do it because they ain't going to move the plant because they're lazy. But you really good growers that are trying to do it really right, they're going to do it like that to get a good shingling effect for when they're showing. So their plant shows as best as it can. Phalaenopsis require lower light than most orchids. Like I said, fertilize weekly. What does that mean? That means you can fertilize them once a week with weak fertilizer, half strength. So they don't need a ton of fertilizer. They like some food, but they don't like a ton of food, except for the Vandas. We'll get to that. We'll talk about that later. But these are just weekly. That's how you're going to fertilize these plants. Phalaenopsis aren't tough. You know that. Okay, let's go next. What the heck is going on in this picture? There's air conditioners, and there's a greenhouse. How many air conditioners on you? They go all the way down the sides of the greenhouses, right? What the heck is he doing? What's the next one? Keep them cool? He's force blooming them. Okay, go to the next one. All right, so what happens is your standard phalaenopsis will produce buds at nighttime temperatures that are released 55 degrees or down to 49 for a bunch of nights straight. So, why would they do that? Commercial growers will air condition sections of their greenhouse down to those temps to produce blooms for a specific holiday. Right? Hobbyists must wait for nature to bring the temps down in winter, like me. When it gets like November, December, my stuff is going to get down that low and it's going to start spiking, which is going to happen to all y'all, right? And then it's going to, bloom in the spring, late May, you're going to cut the spikes. Like we said the rest of that already, right? So what's the next thing about? Oh, no, well, one more thing. So why does Publix always has blooming plants? You get it now, right? So this, like the guy with those air conditioners, he's going to take an area like 100 feet long by 200 feet. He's going to put a plastic ceiling like 8 foot high through the whole thing. And every night he's going to air condition that down and he's going to keep it cool during the days. He's going to keep it like 75 in the daytime. He's going down to 55, 52 every night to produce blooms because he knows exactly how many weeks he has to start that spike for Mother's Day. So he's going to, Publix needs them all year long. So he's got all these different rooms spiking at all different times so that he's always got product to give. That's how the commercial game goes. But then all those plants that you buy from Publix and everywhere else that are already blooming, next year when you got the plant, it's got to wait till it goes down in November in your house, right, when it gets cool. Or you're going to have to force bloom it yourself, which is, who's going to bother, right? So that's why they don't bloom the same time when you get them. Novelty Phalaenopsis are a little different. They're off of a couple of species, Bellini and Violacea, and they're pendant also, but they only get like 1 or 2 blooms, but they're really showy. So, it's like a different type of hobby for Phalaenopsis. And people price them up a lot. You can get a little plant that's like 45 bucks. It's like, ouch, but they'll be coming down because they're making a ton of them in Taiwan. But they're a little different. They only get 2 to 4 flowers. They kind of need to be 60 degrees and above, 55 at least, or they sulk down and you'll start losing leaves on the bottom of them and stuff like that. But they got fragrance too, which is nice for Phalaenopsis. But yeah, they're going to only be a couple of blooms, but they're very cool. Go ahead. Cattleyas. All right, there's one I made, Southern Belle Winter Haven. They're cloning it down right now. Cattleya is the most popular orchid. It used to be the corsage orchids. Everybody used to make corsages out of them, right? It used to be a big deal. They had species, and they knew exactly which species are going to bloom when, and they had their whole greenhouses set up for that. Corsages aren't big, but Cattleyas are still big. And a lot of them have a lot of scent, so it's lovely. Go ahead. So this is a different type of orchid, right? So we have pseudobulbs and eyes on this orchid. This is a sympodial orchid. So you can see you'll get a growth, you'll get a growth, you'll get a growth. You have an eye here, so you can get a second growth coming up so you can spread a plant like that. So it's a branching plant in terms of the bulbs and the flowers that it makes. So everybody wants to say, oh, this is great, I got to make more of these plants, Well, the whole trick is, they're growing in a straight line, and it'll branch, and it'll grow in a straight line, stuff like that. But when you're going to make a division, you want to have 3 bulbs, because you need those 3 bulbs to support the new growth, right? So, you're going to cut it with a sterile shears if you're trying to divide it down into 3 bulb divisions at least. What used to happen is all these guys, before Maricloning, they get a plant awarded, and they're cutting it down to 1 bulb divisions, and they used to sell them for like 100, 150 bucks, right? one bulb. You know, you're going to grow that thing for 8 or 9 years before you get that thing to have any intensity or vigor. So, you know, that doesn't happen anymore. You know, 3 bulbs is the game. Go ahead. Oh, here's one we made. So like bright diffuse light, once a week is all they really need. You can go twice a week on it, but when you got a mature plant, once a week is all it needs to be watered because it likes to dry out and then get wet again. Fertilize weekly, just like the Phalaenopsis, right? They like an open media. So, you know, you're going to, you know, they don't want sphagnum moss, really. You know, they want things like, you know, bigger bark banks. You've got a mature plant. It wants room for the roots to really grow all over the place in there because it's an epiphyte, grows on a tree, and we're faking it into growing on a pot. You can mount them, but most people don't mount all of them. They go down a little lower. They're 45 degrees, no sweat. So, you know, they can get a little bit cooler. So you don't have to worry so much. I mean, they won't, if it goes down to 39 for a night, they'll still be all right. But, you know, they like 45. Go ahead. All right, now this is a different kind. So that first one is a unifolia Cattleya. It's got 1 leaf, right? 1 leaf, 1 leaf, 1 leaf. These are bifolia Cattleyas. They got 2, 2, 2. They'll come on 2 leaves, right? So this is my nobiliar that I got, and they grow a little bit differently. I grow them, I have that on a raft with tree fern, and it's growing and going nuts like that. They're a little fussier about getting repotted. You only repot a bifolia Cattleya when the roots are emerging, right? They'll put out a flush of roots. When they start doing that, it's like cut it and move it. But other than that, if you cut it and move it when it's not going, it's going to sulk on you. But that is how it is. Oh, I got a Cattleya to give away, don't I? It's okay if I give away something else, ain't it? Just nice yellow Cattleya. Where did you go last time? Go over to this side. They got to win too. Maybe if they pull the ticket, they're going to win. But yes, any of these Cattleyas, you need 3 bulbs for a division. Let the young ladies up here pick one. Maybe they'll pull their number. There you go. What's the last 3?
The last 3, 370.
370. Right in the front row. Look at her smile. Here, you grow this for me, will you? That's fun. That's fun. That's what it's all about. Go ahead, Dina. All right, Dendrobiums. Now, Brett talked about this in the last species. Dendrobiums there's a lot of variety in Dendrobiums. So there's 1,000 species, and they got varying habitat. So if you're at an orchid show and you see this Dendrobium, you look at a picture, oh, that looks really cool. The first thing you do is you get your phone out, and you get Google up, and you Google Dendrobium spectabile care, right? And then the Google's going to give you like how to take care of the plant. So it's going to say, oh, grows in high mountainous region. These cold temperatures is like walk away from that plant if it says cold temperatures. I need help. She's in charge of me. But you know, you can Google that up and you can see, you know, you get the care of the Dendrobium to see if it fits where you live, if it's a species. Species, if you look at a species name, the species is going to start with a small s. If it's a hybrid or a cross, which is a vigorous plant, which is usually more tolerant, it'll start with a capital letter there. I know, who tells you? Nobody tells you this stuff, right? But these are species grow naturally in nature. Hybrids is a cross between two plants. But this is called the goblin orchid. It's pretty cool. We can grow it here. It's easy. Go ahead. All right. This is a primary hybrid, right? Showy as all get out. Grows easy here. But it's got a trick. You got to dry it out a little bit. So when it gets to like Thanksgiving, no water. Just put it outside somewhere. If it rains, so be it. If not, don't give it anything, right? Because it likes to dry out this time of year. Then all of a sudden, when it starts budding up in the spring, there you go. You can start watering again. But if you water it the whole time, it's just going to make new plants instead of making new flowers. New growths, yes. Go ahead. All right, so Dendrobium care. You got, how big is the plant? This one on the left is, if it's on the ground, it's up to here when it's full grown. Is that what you wanted to buy? Or that one on the left, I mean, it's this big. So, you may want to check Google to see how, size of your plant that you're getting. Does it fit what you're thinking? You know what I'm saying? I grow them all sizes. I don't care. But, the big ones take a little more maintenance. Go ahead. Yeah, you need a little bit more room. All right, most of the ones that you get are called Dendrobium Phalaenopsis types. And you can see they got these types of blooms. They got lots of colors. And it's just like the big growers are going to grow them in sphagnum moss, just like that. And you can grow it in sphagnum moss, but where is it? you put it in the fir bark and it really does a lot better. Damn, I'm getting old. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? If you got it in the fir bark, I mean, it's happier, you know, it's less maintenance. You have to water a little bit more, but you don't have to worry about it rotting out because, you get the Dendrobium that looks like this in sphagnum moss. You leave it just sit there next year, and next year it's like, dang, the growth got half as big as this year. You know, how come it's growing half the size? That's why. But yeah, down to 50, weekly. Get somebody in the back middle to pick a ticket and grow this thing. I know I'm giving stuff away, I can't help it. Yeah, you guys need to play with the plants. I got plenty. Yeah, pull your own number. Go ahead. Somebody's got to do it. Last three?
Last three, 0, 1, 7.
17. Grow the plant. Take your time, Cindy. I appreciate you helping me. I know I'm high maintenance. I know that. All right. Well, good. So we did the phals, we did the cats, we talked a little about dendrobiums. We'll talk a little bit about vandas before we move to questions. Okay, vandas, monopolial. They got one growth point. Epiphytic, normally grow on a tree in the subtropics. Equatorial, warm. Bright light, not full sun. Grow great in pool cages. Doesn't sound bad. We got all of that stuff here, right? If it gets down below 45, throw it in the garage. Go ahead. All right. Vanda loves hoseaholics. What does that mean? That means you're a hoseaholic. You hose that plant down. It loves to get water. You can't water it too much. Water until 4 in the afternoon, then let her dry out. Or if you can't get there tomorrow, water as much as you can handle it. It likes a hoseaholic. And then it also likes fertilizer just as much. You can get that hose end sprayer with that Miracle Grow in there or whatever you got. It ain't fussy. And you can just keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. And it'll say, thank you, thank you, thank you. It'll eat it up, So these are heavy feeders. You get, like it says there, you can get no fertilizer first. You get the roots wet and they'll all turn green and let it dry out a little bit and come back 15 minutes later. Then fertilize the heck out of it. It's going to suck it all in. Yeah, I know. Nobody tells you. All right, Vandaceous species. So I got Vandas, and then there's Vandas. There's species that are related to Vandas that aren't Vandas. So the one on the left is called Angrecum sesquipedale. It's called Darwin's orchid. And as you can see, the spur on that is 24 inches long, and it's fragrant, right? So Darwin theorized that there was a moth with a proboscis that was 24 inches to go down there to get the stuff out of there and, get the nectar, right? Anyhow, he died, never found it. 90 years after he died, scientists got a movie of the moth doing that. So since then, it's Darwin orchids. Not the easiest orchid to find. They come in streaks from Hawaii. They'll be at every vendor's booth in 1 year, and then you won't see it for 5 years. But if you see the plant, don't be afraid of it. It's really cool. You're only one of the block that's got it going on. The one in the middle is called Orchids hulitania. Not a bad plant, grows like a Vanda. Got these yellow blooms, a really cool lip, smells stinking wonderful. Don't be afraid of it. On the right, I'm a Rhinanthera guy. So you can send me, the Rhinanthera's got big, long inflorescences, dramatic, bright red. I've breeding some of this one. This is Frank Smith's one. He got the highest award on the FCC and a CCM on this plant. CCE, and when he got done, he walked out he's like with the mic and he just drops it because he knows none of the judges can touch him. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, that thing is huge. That's like 8 foot wide and it's like 10 foot tall and it's like a whole wall of blooms blooming at you. Very cool stuff. Don't be shy. Google it up before you try it, but don't be afraid of trying it because you can't win if you don't try. Right? Go ahead. I think that's about it. Oh, a couple of my favorites. That's Lovey-Dovey on the right. So we used to go to RF Orchids down in Miami. I don't know, some of you might know RF. And he's got this little bin that he's got these little tiny plants with a tag on them that are like $5, 10 for 50. That's where I got that one. So when I got an FCC, which is the highest award you can get on his plant, that out of his $5 bin, I had to call him up. Hey, can I name your plant? Which one did you get? And I told him, he said, where'd you get that? I said, I got it out of your $5 bin. I just got an FCC. And I told him I wanted it. He said, go ahead and name it Lovey-Dovey. So that's my Lovey-Dovey. The one on the right side is called Sweet Spot. So that's a full platter Vanda that's all pink. And there's a species called Vanda tricolor that smells like nectar of the gods, but it's a little tiny thing like this. It's got a lot of spots on. So you can breed spots into it by using that plant. So we made Sweet Spot Winter Haven Mojo. And I think I got it there. Yeah, thank you. Anybody got any questions? You can throw them at me. Good fun.
Pictures in mine of Phalaenopsis has dark green glossy leaves, but I read somewhere that that's not a sign of health.
The sign is, it probably needs a little bit more light than you got. Because they don't have to be, if they're really, really dark green, I mean, they look stunning and waxy and everything like that. But if you give it a little bit more light, they'll probably grow more robustly and give you more flowers in the next season. Go right ahead.
What do you fertilize them with?
You know, they're not really fussy. You know, it's more that you gave it some. I mean, I don't care if you get Miracle Grow. I like using 20-20-20 water soluble if I can get that. I like CalMag. I'll go from one fertilizer to the other, to the other, to the other, and get all the micronutrients I can into it a little at a time. It's just more of a thing if you give it something, you know, because some people just don't fertilize at all. I get it. Go ahead.
I have an orchid that sends up an air.
Aerial roots?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
It's trying to find a branch to hang on to.
So that should be up in the tree somewhere.
Well, don't be afraid of the aerial roots. It won't hurt nothing.
What kind of orchid?
10 types, more than that. Lots of types will put out an aerial root, yeah. Go ahead.
My orchids like the ants like my orchids. How to get rid of them?
The ants like your orchids? Orthene. Orthene. It's the least toxic chemical you can put on there and get the job done to get the ants out of it. It smells stinky, but it doesn't hurt. You know, it's not that bad for your environment, really. Orthene, yeah, it's cheap. It's like fire ant killer, but you know, try to get, you know, you can go online and get orthene that's water soluble instead of the fire ant killer. Then you go in there and it just seems like white powder sitting on top of the water. So you get a water soluble orthene if you got ants in your pants. Go ahead.
One of the orchids you learned in the last presentation that you don't put ice cubes on.
Where was the ice cube thing in here?
You skip right past it.
I skipped right past it. Yeah, go back to it. I'm high maintenance, I'll agree. I'm high maintenance. Okay, what's the deal with that? Does it go backwards? Yeah, you got it going. I walked right past it, didn't I? I ain't no fun. Well, I know you're getting warm now. Keep going. There it is. I did walk right past it. All right, so what happens is, this is where all the parents of all the Phalaenopsis you grow come from, right? These are most of the basic species that they're built off of, and these are the islands in the South Pacific that they grow on. There are no ice cubes there. There's nothing there there's nothing. It's all, yeah, it's for the cocktails. You put your ice cubes in your cocktails, not in your Phalaenopsis. The reason they say put your ice cubes in there is because they know you ain't watering it. So you go in there and you freeze the roots to get a little bit of water, you know, it's counterproductive.
I've also heard that you soak them in basins of water for 15
All right, there's another good one. For example, if you got that Vanda right there with those seed pods on it, there's some guys going to get a 5-gallon bucket and they're going to stick it in there and water it, hang it up, stick the next plant in there, hang it up. So what happens is if one plant is sick, you're transferring that to every other plant. So, you know, I mean, if you're in a sink and you're running water through it and you put another plant, that's different. But if you just don't put it in the same bucket over and over and over. Anybody else?
That's the way you water them?
I water them with, I just water them. Get them wet. You don't have to dunk it in there.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The black spots that you made on these.
What kind of plant? Couple of things. It could be got too cold in the wintertime. It could be a fungal thing. You know, you almost have to see it. You know, I have an orchid society. I got lots of people that can talk to you about it. But yes, it could be a couple of things. You almost want to look at the plant to be specific on that. That's a tough one. Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah.
Apparently I was supposed to cut it in May.
Yeah.
Should I leave?
No. I brought it like that and I told you to cut it. Go ahead and cut it when you get home. Something is well, just it'll be sterile because it's the first thing you're cutting. You don't want to cut and cut and cut and transfer one from the other plant. But yeah, cut that thing down. Sure. Yes, ma'am. A lot of times it's going to be thrips around here because thrips come around when it's dry and hot. So a lot of times it's going to be a thrip thing. You almost have to look at it. It's either thrips or too little water. I don't mind if you got a boogie. That's cool. Yes, ma'am.
I was told that you can cut them and make two.
You can cut a Vanda if you got 3 or more roots above the cut, and you can cut it between the month of May to July. Otherwise, the plant doesn't have time to recover. Well, listen. Okay, we'll keep going. I was going to let y'all out of here. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Our Orchid Society's got a show at Williamsburg Square at the Women's Club of Lakin, September 12th and 13th if you want to come play. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about when the leaves get rubbery and breaky? That means it just needs water?
Pull it out of the pot and look at the roots because it sounds like a root issue. Hey, it's been fun hanging with y'all. Come see me anytime.